All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Canfield Show, the Awaken Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And my good friend Cathleena Hailley is back with us. And today we are going to be continuing a conversation we may have had before, but it's about restoring your human template to the truth frequency. But this is about identity. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to take some live caller questions, do some processes. We're going to talk about an activation series to become the conscious creator that you're always meant to be. We're going to talk a little bit about the Ascension process and what it's about, releasing dense frequencies that are stored within the body. We're going to also talk about the Earth's resonance frequencies, which are love, truth, beauty, and goodness, and a little bit about that. We're going to talk about fear and how fear is not an authentic frequency, and so much more. And for those of you who do not know Cathleena, she's been with us, like I said, many times before. She is an embodiment of the divine feminine who works with the Council of Nine Collective, and in particular with Jesus, Metatron, and other ascended masters. Her coding accesses the womb water of an individual's birth so that they are brought back to their original soul expression, creating a rebirth to allow full expression of the soul's imprint. As the lineage of the life architect, her crystalline DNA signature not only carries the frequency of perfect pitch to align to the original human template, Earth template, and this universe's template, but continually recalibrates this alignment. So we're going to talk a little bit about Cathleena and her path as well, and what she's doing now. And so much more. So I'm so excited. We always have a wonderful conversation. It's always a high vibe call. The processes and questions and clearings and activations that Cathleena brings forward are always so powerful. So please grab some water, grab something to drink, be present, be here. You can raise your hand or you can type your question in the chat. And so Cathleena, I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
There's always so much to talk about, right? Always so much to talk about.
yeah. It's always a fun time with you, Laura. I always have a good time. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start off because there might be some people who are new to you and don't really know you very well. So let's just talk a little bit. Let's just start off talking about the human template. And because we've talked about that before, right? Restoring your human template. So what that is and what that means and how do you restore it to the human template of truth, to the truth frequency? Let's just jump right in and see where we go.
Okay, sure. So I refer to, I spell it template because there's more than one. So what the human template is it's basically a kind of container in which your consciousness can engage in this physicality and have unlimited ability to create. So we are consciousness. Consciousness is basically information. We are information of source. So we're like a library of information of source consciousness. So it's like I'm a smaller library of source consciousness, and you are as well, but you're a different one than I am. So that's our uniqueness as source of this giant library called source. And so what the embodiment is in the physicality is that we take this consciousness or this information, which is basically the software, and we download it into the brain, which is like the hardware, and then it communicates with the physical body, and we create out into the world. So this process, in order for us to create in a physicality, and I've talked about what the actual creative process is, but in order to create in a physicality, you have to have kind of a container, so to speak. And you want to think about it like the egg and the sperm, where you have, the egg is information, the sperm is information, because this is what consciousness is doing too, is it's exchanging information with other information. That's what we're doing. And so, you have the egg and the sperm, and so the sperm, enters the egg, so it's exchanging information, and that information ends up expanding, but instead of expanding completely outward, it goes on top of each other because it has kind of a container. And so that's the idea of it, having this template, is that we have, a kind of container in which our consciousness has an unlimited ability based on who we are to create this physicality within. The idea of the truth frequency, what the truth frequency is the 0 point. And the 0 point is the no thing and the all possibilities. So allowing your consciousness to be fully engaged in the 0 point of all possibilities allows for the unlimited possibilities of creation itself. The, sorry, a bird just hit my window. Yeah, I know. I just saw this bird fly right into the window. Sorry, that startled me a little bit that just happened.
I hope it's
sorry.
okay, the poor thing.
Yeah, I know. I was looking out. I have no idea. It hit pretty hard and flew out. That just like threw me off a little bit. Sorry about that. See if I can bring my energy back, because that was a little bit startling, the poor little bird. Yeah, coming into the 0 point. The 0 point is the no thing and the all possibilities. And when we, as our consciousness, are engaging in the 0 point, we are one with all things. And so having that ability within or as this physical body gives us the unlimited ability to create endlessly. And this is the idea. And so, I don't know if you want me to continue with because I could talk a whole lot about that.
I know, it's true. And the thing is, we are here to create, whatever it is that we want, right? Unlimited possibilities, right? We are here to create from that place of truth.
Yeah, so let me talk about the actual creative process here for a second. So we are creator beings. So we are source consciousness, right? Like I said, we are basically an expression of source. And, so we are like this library of information. So as our information engages in this physical body as frequency, we create. So the creative process is that you have a thought that comes out of your brain, and every thought comes out of your head as a geometric shape, every single thought. And the thought is the mental masculine or the blueprint of your creation, every thought. And then the emotion that you give to that thought is the creator or the creation or the spiritual aspect of that, or the divine feminine aspect of your creation. So, so you have your thought, and then you have your emotion. When you hold that thought for 14 seconds or longer, you give it an emotion, then that emotion gives it a frequency. It moves into what's called the unified field. The unified field is in your heart. That is the place where all frequencies exist. There it creates a match for whatever frequency you've given it based on your emotion. And then that match actually moves down into the earth, comes back up into your heart, and then comes out into your physicality. So you are literally creating by your thought, every single thought, and your emotion. And this is why the truth frequency is so important, because when we start out in life, we are, as pure source consciousness, engaging in a physicality. So you come as light, and then you engage in a physicality that has the egg and the sperm from the parents, and whatever lineage and so on was in connection with that. You can also come with your own sense of karmic lineage that you haven't necessarily completed, whatever, in the energetic. But so when you first sort of show up, you are you have the greatest ability to be your pure source self. But as soon as you start engaging in any kind of awareness of your physical environment, whether it's through direct speech and somebody speaking to you, telling you, or you're just picking up information, as soon as you start to allow for that information to engage with your consciousness, now you're no longer in that pure 0 point, because you're no longer your pure essence as source. You become whatever it is that you are, that you are believing. Your belief systems are coming forward. And so what this whole process that I do is all about, I carry, so as how I chose to incarnate is I carry the 0 point for all frequencies, which is why I refer to myself as a frequency alchemist. And I also carry the original template of the human body, the mental, physical, spiritual, and etheric. And I also carry the original template of the earth experience. And my consciousness is beyond dimensionality, so I move through all 12 dimensional fields. So stepping in here, what I'm able to do is, as I have embodied my oversoul, especially more just in being here in the representation, I'm holding the 0 point for all. And then through the activations, through everything that I do, it's about releasing those stories, those frequencies, those emotions that you have attached to your thoughts that you're using to have created your physical body, created your physical existence, and so on. And yes, we are amazing creator beings, and what we are waking up to is the truth that you are source consciousness, and that there is no right or wrong necessarily direction. There are no limits or limitations other than what your beliefs are. And so as we can basically let go of those beliefs, because you hear the term quantum attachment or quantum attachments, and so if you as your consciousness takes on belief systems, you attach your consciousness to that belief system and forget that you are source, and so you end up becoming the belief system instead of realizing that you're source here for just an experience, and you can just have the experience of whatever that is and not become it.
Right, and not get attached to it, and then
not get
and buy into it, etc. For sure.
Or because that's not who you are. You are source consciousness.
Yeah, and that's what we forget, and we have to. I feel like it's something we have to remind ourselves over and over again, right? Because we get caught up in the drama and the belief systems and the judgments and the projections, etc. From everybody all around us, plus our own mental concepts and structures that we have been functioning with for eons.
It seems difficult because we're trapped in what's called the mind matrix, and that's literally a pentagonal shaped boxes in which our consciousness sits in. It's like, instead of us downloading our consciousness into this physical brain and communicating with the body, what we're actually doing is we're sitting in these little boxes, and we are listening to information that's being given to us, and that's the belief systems of the collective or your parents or whatever, and we're communicating that information to the body, and we're using that to create. And those, so the boxes are like, how I can create a business, or how I can get a relationship. And so whatever you're told are your possibilities of being able to do that, you're sitting in a like container of those possibilities, and you keep using those to try to figure out how to create. And that's what's actually creating the edges of these sort of pentagonal shaped boxes that are in your brain. I refer to that as the mind matrix. But how to get out of that is when we let go of those belief systems and just say, well, how about I be in the unknown? Because that's the 0 point. We're guided to never be comfortable in the unknown, to always know, right? But the knowing is the limits, because that's somebody else's belief systems. There's a very big difference of having a universal knowing that all possibilities exist, and being able to connect with a universal mind that brings you like the awareness that you're source consciousness, and to keep allowing for creation to happen. There's a big difference between that and that very limited mind, thought process of, what I can and can't do.
And that's that's also a belief system too, of what I can and can't do. That's also part of the stuff, the entanglements that we get caught up in. Is like, I can do this, or I can't do this, right? Knowing, and even though we know, it's like, okay, if we say there's a famous phrase, whatever you say you can or cannot do, it's true, right? Something like that, right? If you say you can, then you can. If you say you can't, then you can. But it's one of those, again, in the collective consciousness, that is very rampant, right? It's very popular, and it's very ingrained in the collective consciousness. So it's hard for somebody who is can be difficult, not always. It can be difficult to get out of that pattern and get out of that. I keep hearing that, get out of that mold, or get out of that rut. It's and move to a different way of being.
Well, that's why the 0 point is so important, because the way out is to let go of it. It's that's the quantum entanglement aspect, is that you don't realize that you're holding it. It's actually much harder to hold something, like to hold disease or to hold a pattern in your life, whether it's I can't get, a job, or I don't have it's much harder to hold that in your life than it is to let it go. But you don't realize that. Because the thing is that it's all about matching frequencies and your comfort. And we don't realize that we become comfortable in this lower, denser frequencies of, it's a lot of anxiousness, there's a lot of fight or flight, it's a lot of just the hamster on the wheel kind of energy. And even though we can say, I want out of that, it's familiar. And so it becomes scary, because, notice what happens is, as I'm watching people, and as they are attempting to let go of the fear, let go of whatever, then it's like, it starts to shift this matrix in the mind, and then it becomes unfamiliar, and they start to freak out about that. Like, oh, am I losing my mind? Am I not? And I kind of joke about that. And I used to have a card that said, you have to lose your mind to come to your senses. And it's so true in the way it's like let go of that belief that I can lose my mind, and I will actually be able to engage in the greater mind. It is a faith, trust, and a surrender. And this is what we're really being called to now, because there's this intensity of the energy that's playing out. And we're in an unprecedented time right now with these plasmic fields that are coming in, and so much light coming in. And then also the, sort of last ditch effort for the energies that want humanity to stay just the way it is. They're pumping those energies in. And so you want to think about what's happening is that this idea of, your source consciousness, and you're this information and downloading into your brain. Well, imagine, so you are, engaging more and more of your light, and your light as pure source consciousness is basically the fastest moving frequency there is. And so no other frequency can sustain in that light. It can't. So as you are embodying more of yourself, and your physical body is vibrating at a different rate, because the ascension process is not, we are not ascending, the body is ascending, because we are fifth dimensional or higher beings. So as you are bringing more and more of your light in, what's happening is that you are now going to basically force those frequencies that your body is vibrating as to release, because they can't sustain within pure source. They have to match pure source. Everything's about matching frequencies. So what happens is that, these energies are going to begin to sort of dissipate out of you, so to speak. So as you're embodying more of yourself, you might start noticing, and like I said, fear frequencies, whatever. So the idea is dropping into the 0 point, which is the no thing and all possibilities. It's not in your head, it's in your heart, letting go, dropping in, and allowing and becoming the observer of this. But you have to notice a couple of things are going to happen. As you are becoming the observer of these emotions leaving your body, they're still going to be seeking a match sort of outside of yourself. Right. So, your environment, your people, whatever around you might be reacting to you as you're continuing. So you basically could be irritating. First, you might be irritating your own body because you're vibrating at a faster rate. So it starts to get very uncomfortable, and it's like, what we want to do is try to make ourselves comfortable. So by doing that, we actually shrink our light. We actually make it, and this is what the process, we're constantly doing this back and forth. That's why it feels difficult. But it's getting familiar with your light and allowing those to dissipate out. And then also noticing that as they're going to seek a match around you, to not re-embody that again. So it's really a process of that faith, trust, surrender, letting go, taking breaths, and allowing for these density frequencies to be, to know that they're still around us, but to continue to just have that faith, trust, and surrender, and choose, start making choices. Like I say regularly, I choose joy. I choose joy. Even if I start to feel other energies around, I say, no, I choose joy. No, I'm letting go, so that we don't re-embody, these frequencies. And it really is a practice, it becomes a practice of this, particularly like right now. Very, very important. That's also why
Go ahead.
I was going to say that's why I have all these series, is because what these do is all the series that I have are all about, the alchemizing of these frequencies, and they're all done in the 0 point, and they're all, so each time you listen, they're brand new, they're in the 0 point. So they're all specifically for whatever frequency I'm working with at that time. And it's to really help this exact process that we're talking about here, to allow for you to be able to stay in that 0 point as those frequencies are dissipating out. So to speak.
And part of that has to be, you have to be willing to be present and aware, right, of what is going on around you and within you at the same time.
Well, I feel like that if you can be, really asking yourself, what do you really, really want? Because, I've shared the story before that I kept waking up in the morning and saying, I'm such a failure, I'm such a failure. And I was like, I felt like I wanted to get rid of this, and I kept doing everything to get rid of it. And then I woke up one morning and I'm saying I'm such a failure. And then I had this realization, like, wait a minute, there's some comfort in this, because that's what you have to acknowledge first. You have to acknowledge, how is this serving you, whatever it is that you feel that you don't want, because you are source consciousness. You are bringing this into your energy for some reason. It is, nothing is outside of you, even if it seems like it is, it's not. And so, like, for me in that case, I was like, ooh, wait a minute. Oh, wow, there's some comfort in this. So now at that point is when you actually match it. And at that point is when you have a genuine choice. And so the next day I wake up and I'm still hearing that, you're such a failure. And at that point I can say, well, I might not know what success is, but I know I don't want to feel that anymore. And so at that point, I'm in the 0 point, because anytime before that, I'm in what's called, the false neutrality, or the false 0 point, where I'm in my head. I'm not in my heart, and that's the idea, right? It's being able to drop into your heart and be absolutely present, not spinning around your head. A lot of people get into this idea, like, I'm present, I'm in the room, but you're just repeating stories in your head.
Yeah.
And so there's a step past that. It's like being able to draw. And how do you do that? You realize this is everything. The body is everything. This is the millionaire. This is the relationship. This is everything. Everything is right here. So if I experience myself and I get truly honest and I start to say, well, what am I really feeling? And it isn't, the thing is, it's not about replacing one for the other, because this is what we're taught too. It's like, okay, if I'm not happy, if I'm uncomfortable, I need to find comfort. Like, no, you just need to let go of that uncomfortable, and you are in the possibility of comfort. Okay. And we're just really learning who we are. And one thing I'm going to emphasize is we have been living in an inverted matrix. So everything is backwards. So what you are familiar with is backwards from what the truth is. And the truth is just, it is very simple, really. The simplistic aspect is, when you let go of everything, when you have no fear, you are the amazing creator being as pure source in a physicality.
Yeah. And we forget how powerful we are as creators, right? And that's the thing, is it's like, even what we have created, whatever it is we are experiencing in our reality, in our life, we have created that.
Yes,
right?
we have.
So it's not about putting blame on this person or that person or this situation or that person. No, this is all, recognize that we have been creating everything, and now we get to choose something different. It doesn't mean necessarily pushing away, like you said. It's like, I'm not swapping one thing for the other, but I'm recognizing that, oh yeah, I chose this for whatever reason, something I wanted to experience. And now, am I really ready to choose something else? And that's the thing too, right? It's like really asking yourself, am I really ready to choose something else, or am I comfortable in this and want to stay in this scenario or situation?
Yeah, what exactly is the truth? And if you realize that absolutely everything that's in your existence is a mirror of you, there really isn't there's nothing outside of you, because I am you, you are me, we are one. It's the law of one. So everything. So, and that's some of the hardest parts, because people will say, oh, my partner is awful, or it's like, how is that a mirror? Well, have the experience and you will be able to recognize what is mirroring for you. Perhaps somewhere inside of yourself, you're doing that to you, or you wouldn't be picking that as an exterior. You wouldn't have a reflection of it if you weren't doing that to yourself. You know, everything is here. When we have that really incredible self-love, you love yourself enough and you fall in love with yourself to the point that it's like, I so love you that I'm going to let go and just be. You know, that's how we show up as pure source.
Wow, powerful. So I don't know if you've noticed in the chat, there's lots of questions in the chat. There's lots of people with their hand raised.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, where do you want to go next? Because we talked a lot about, we haven't talked about the Earth's resonance frequencies. Can we talk a little bit about that first before we move forward? Because I really want to talk about the Earth's resonance frequencies of love, truth, beauty, and goodness, and how we as physical beings here in this reality, you know, we are working with the Earth's energies, we are working with Gaia, we are working with these frequencies for ourselves as well, but also as contributors to the Earth, right?
Yeah. So the original expression of this experience is meant to be the resonance frequencies of love, truth, beauty, and goodness in all ranges of those. And what's happened through, you know, the matrices and all the different things that have happened is that the grids were changed, and the grid systems allow for these frequencies to come into this particular, you know, environment and stay authentic. And because they were cut off, we weren't able to experience these. And so what's happened is that we've been experiencing these frequencies, love, truth, beauty, and goodness, based on the collective belief of them. And really, you know, what they are as authentic is the recognition of the law of one, of pure source, that, you know, all is consciousness, all is, you know, in synergy to each other. So when you can recognize the water as consciousness, like a puppy, and you love it and you embrace it and you connect it, and the same with the land or the trees and the, you know, of course, the animals or and humans or anything. I mean, that's really recognizing the frequencies of love, truth, beauty, and goodness. That's the elements of the oneness and so on with all there is, you know, and this is really what's by design, but we're not even doing that with ourselves, with our body. You know, there's so much disconnect that's going on. And, you know, why that's occurring is, and I don't want to get too technical, but, you know, we're only using 10% of our brain, and we have the capacity for the 100% brain. And the reason that we're not engaging that is because the grid system, you know, has 0 points on the grid itself. And what a 0 point in a grid system allows for a frequency to kind of move through that and stay its own integrity. So because it's a 0 point, it's all frequencies and no frequencies kind of all at once. So the grid system of this experiment called Earth, which is very large because it's 12-dimensional fields, had the origination of these frequencies, particularly love, truth, beauty, and goodness, sort of moving, so to speak, through these 0 points. And the same 0 points that on a grid system are in your physical brain. And they align perfectly so that we have those experiences. But when these grid systems were shut down, aspects of them were shut down, those particular 0 points were shut down. And so, you know, you weren't able to access them. But we now have the ability for that to occur because they are now available and they're open. And so, you know, we have the ability to align these with our being if we choose to. And this is the beauty of being in the 0 point, is that once you allow yourself to let go, if you let go of all that you think you are, basically, and all of those belief systems, and you allow yourself to discover who you are based as source consciousness, you are in essence awakening those 0 points. You're awakening these true authentic frequencies within yourself. And we are, of course, we are one with this earth, Sophia Guy, we're not on the earth. And that's also how we align through all the chakra systems and through all the body systems. And we embody what's called, you know, our higher self or our oversoul, which is a larger aspect of self. And then there's a rishi body. So you know, we are not in essence in the body is within us. We are larger, right, than the body. So it's allowing the body to let go of the density and kind of find the edges of its truth, which is much larger, which is what my consciousness is able to do at this point now, which is why I can bring this frequency. And it's not unique to me. There's many, many of us, of course, that are, you know, because we're as one. So that's the other beauty too, is that, you know, the idea of we are all one is that the idea of one person allowing themselves to let go is adding this to the collective. So we are bringing this as possibilities now. It's a possibility of what is available, you know, for all those that are feeling stuck. It's like the availability is now here. So in your letting go, you can magically be aligning to frequencies and energies that you couldn't before. But I'm going to encourage you, because you are doing that, but it becomes scary because your little mind is going, you know, but if we just let that go, if we drop into our heart, you'll feel that it actually feels exciting. You know, that's the other part. If we can shift those frequencies, instead of always going to the place of fear, go to excitement. You know, if you have to think about it as the small child, that's the first time. And if that child is not having somebody to you know, around them to create the idea of fear, because fear is not an authentic frequency. These resonance frequencies are authentic in that they're wavelengths. Fear is a chaotic frequency. So it just kind of bounces all over the place, kind of energy. So if we don't have this child indoctrinated with that fear frequency, then the child's going to be in that very curiosity, excitement, inquisitive, fun, playful energy. That's us. That's who we are. I mean, if you feel the soul of humanity, that's where we are. We're just little kids excited to play and have fun in this beautiful playground. And you know, I always say that if all of humanity just opened their heart suddenly, everything would magically change. You know, and that's literally what we're doing, is we're allowing our hearts to open.
Beautiful. Thank you. I know Shira wrote in the chat a little while ago, she said, so it's not about fixing, it's about acceptance, right? Accepting who we are. Truly.
I think it's about experiencing who you are. It's about you truly being honest with yourself and discovering who you are. That's how I discovered who I am, and I'm still discovering. And it's funny because, you know, for myself, like I came in, I always say I came in on, so I was very aware of my energetic self, but I had no idea what it meant to be human. I've always been very odd and strange in that way. And so only more recently, it's like, I'm embodying now the template of the human part. And it's like, well, that's fun too. I think there was a part of me that I didn't feel safe being in the human, because I knew too much energetically. And I also was carrying the false savior program, which a lot of people carry, which is like, I knew that I was here for a divine purpose, but I had the distortion that I had to do it for God kind of thing, which is still part of the separation matrix, you know. And when you, so, you know, there's a journey, and it's really the journey of embodying yourself as source, just knowing yourself as source, which as source, it's, you know, all possibilities. It's endless.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a question in the chat from Raphael saying, are our thoughts really our thoughts? Because we were talking about thoughts at the beginning, remember?
Yeah. You know, that's an interesting question, because they are your thoughts if you align to them. So let's just say, in the idea of the mind, the physical mind, the way that it works is like I'm describing, is you take software, you take information, and you bring it into it. So am I bringing in, so the process of my thoughts would be, if I'm in my heart and I'm actually having an experience, and from that experience, I'm creating a thought, then it moves into my mind. And therefore, that is my thought process. But many thoughts are coming directly into the mind through a lot of false sound, a lot of false light aspects. And how that's occurring is through the more subliminal aspect of belief systems. And really what happens is that when you feel the uncomfortableness, then you're dialoguing what that is. That's putting those thoughts in. There also is a mechanism that literally thoughts can be just like flown into your head via some of the technology. And I had an instance where I was by myself in my apartment when I was actually in Asheville, and there was no sound on, nothing on, and suddenly I'm hearing, "Be aggressive, be aggressive," which is like a cheer, and I was like, "What?" And I thought, how funny, but I was very aware of it. I was like, well, that's interesting. That just got thrown into my head. And so, of course, I was very aware of it. So I just moved it out, So it's, that's why that's a little bit, I hope that answered your question. But yeah, some are just kind of thrown in. And this is where it's super important to be in that 0 point, because if you're in the observer, even of yourself, you can observe like, that's interesting. What's that thought that's occurring? Is that mind? Do I have a belief system in that? And that's just what we're doing. This is this inverted matrix to become, not inverted anymore. It's when we come from our heart, when we're in our heart, and then we're utilizing what the functioning of the body is.
Yeah, awesome. And are they stored in the body or elsewhere, these thoughts?
They're stored, yes, all over. That's the thing, is that, well, the thoughts have an emotion to them. So it's not just the thought, you give it an emotion. Okay, so it's the emotional aspect of it that creates it. So the thought is just the geometry, but when you give it an emotion is when it becomes a creation. And that creation is definitely within all aspects of your being, your mental, physical, spiritual, etheric templates, and the physical body. It's where any disease is coming from. It's coming from the creation of whatever you're creating within your being.
Awesome. Good. Thank you. All right, Marianne, you want to unmute yourself? We have lots of hands raised as well, lots of questions in the chat. So we'll try and take what we can. Hello, Marianne.
Hi.
Hi, Kathleen.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm just curious. One of the statements you made was that because I have this program saying that I'm here to be in service to God. And you said that's part of the separation. I'm kind of confused.
Yeah, what I'm referring to is the false savior program. That is, if I have a belief system that I'm here to serve God in a way, then that makes me little me, and as though I'm not one as source, because I am source consciousness. So the difference in that is the awareness that I am source consciousness here as the representation of self, basically, of source self embodiment. And I'm here to bring that. That's very different than saying, me, Cathleena, I'm little me, and I have this mission I have to do for this God that's outside of me. See, that's the false savior program, because that makes me then feel separate. I'm the separate one from you, and I'm separate from God, and therefore, but I have a mission. That's a false savior program. So you see, the difference is that I am source consciousness, and I am an embodiment of source consciousness, and I am a particular library of information of source consciousness that I am choosing to embody, to represent, to bring to the collective. See the difference?
Okay. Right now, I'm sort of becoming aware of issues, and I'm trying to get a higher vision of what's happening with myself and my tribe. And there's a lot of conflict happening, and I'm getting aware of how colonization happened, and how that's trained our leaders to be like that
Mhm.
with people.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to be sovereign and assert myself in terms of doing what's right for our people and our lands. So I'm just wondering, like, I don't want to be this false savior here. I want to be authentic and share myself with the people to make things better.
Mhm. So I'd say then it's really about judgment. Am I in any place of judgment? And it's about releasing the judgment and just in observation, and how can I help to awaken what this process that I'm seeing has taken place. If it's a certain way in which my tribe, my group has organized themselves based on a belief system. So if I have no judgment about that, and I'm simply in awareness of that, and I'm feeling that it's taking it separate from the law of one, then I begin to embody that. So I have to look at myself, like, am I attached to that? Am I seeing that? Am I angry about that? Am I frustrated about that? Do I feel something about that? Because that's all me. That's the law of one. And as I'm not just me doing it, I'm actually expressing that outward. I'm expressing that to my tribe, because it's not little me. So this is what I'm feeling is coming through you. It's like really getting a better embodiment of this whole thing within yourself. And where are you still separate? Where are you feeling this? Where are you holding those things, and allowing yourself to release those and let go of those, because you're not just little you. That is the energy that you are now being able to exude. That's what it feels like it's coming forward.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, Marianne.
Mhm.
Good. All right, we're going to go to Karen. Karen, you want to unmute yourself?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, Cathleena. I had a session with you in January, and it was originated from you being on the show previously. So I had your package and a session, and it was profound, to say the least. And so anybody that is getting the inkling to work with her, this is a little bit of a testimony, and then I have a question.
Sure.
I had drinks on and off for 40 years. I'm almost 60 years old. I grew up in the 80s and did this and that, and it's not like I abused it. And maybe there were times when I relied on it a little bit more, but with a kidney liver disease that was going down the path genetically, since my session with you, Cathleena, I have not had one drink, and it's been over 4 months.
Wow.
I like I said, a few drinks a week during the night was where I had gotten to. So nothing major, but it was always something that was in my social sphere, my family sphere or something. And I just didn't want to do it anymore, or couldn't break that. It seemingly couldn't break that stronghold. And again, since our session, I haven't even had a sniff, to be honest with you. Yeah. So, it was really quite amazing. So on the heels of that, my next thing, and I've had quite a few flu type scenarios since our session, big sessions of flu. But I've also had a real deepening and worsening of my eyesight since then. And I'm just wondering if there's some connection, or if you're seeing something there.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel like you've been taking in a lot of information in the eyes. You know, the eyes are the windows of the soul. They are master computers. And, you know, how quickly we take in judgments and frequencies and things. And so I definitely feel like that they're connected together. It's like something to do with what's a worthiness aspect of self. You know, it's like it's a bit of that energy. And I think I can feel it down through the stomach, you know, a little bit, and through some of the areas in the body. Yeah, it feels like that maybe you were in a place that maybe career, something wanting to change, and either you have gone through the change, you haven't, something about that. And so this kind of has been coming in your energy and the eyesight aspect, because you're maybe uncertain. There's an uncertainty energy there. It's not super strong, so
Okay.
you know, I don't think it's super interfering. I will do an activation for the group, and I think that this will help also, because we'll take out any of the false light from the eyes that I'm seeing there. But there's definitely a cord. It feels like there's a cord coming through for you. It's definitely wanting to communicate to your digestive area is what it feels like more than anything. So that's
Okay.
your emotional body, right? So I
It's
don't,
reestablishing itself, perhaps.
yeah.
I'll look forward to the activate. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, are you in a transition of any career or anything like that? Have you been doing that or thinking about that? Or
Career, a divorce, health, everything.
well, that's
So
what, that's exactly. So that's exactly, but you're doing really well with it, but you've just sort of chosen this to diminish the eyesight aspect and the kind of flu-like stuff, because there's an uncertainty. And so you're pulling that into your energy to kind of give you something to feel,
okay.
than feeling uncertain. So
Ah.
yeah, so it's kind of like if we take that out, then you get to feel, you get to feel really where you want to be, or where you know what's next.
Wonderful. And then, so because I did buy the package last time, do you recommend, I don't know what's coming up in terms of what you're going to be offering today. Is
Yeah.
it going to be another session
Yeah.
Okay. Do you recommend that?
Yes.
Okay. Thank
I
you.
do. That'd be great. You're welcome.
Thank you, ladies.
Sure.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
All right. So 1 second. All right, cool. Awesome. So there has been a lot of change for a lot of people in the past couple of months as well, right? So just know that, there's been a lot of change, a lot of transition, lots of stuff happening.
Yeah, you want to do active? I'm feeling like now might be a good time to just step in and do like an activation.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, what I'm feeling like is to just do kind of a clearing of some of these general things. I feel a lot of different things that are going on with people. There's some financial stuff. There's some attachment things that are going on. Certainly a lot in the eyes and things like that. So I'm just going to step in and just do some clearing for this group, and then anybody else who will continue. It feels like that just helping be able to be in the 0 point a little bit more comfortably. Okay. So for those that may not be familiar with me, I make a lot of sounds. I do a lot of different things. So just kind of go with it. So if everybody wants to close their eyes and take some nice deep breaths. So I'm going to take information out of your eyes. I want you to imagine little particles floating out of your eyes, like dirt. Just let it go. I'm taking it out of the third eye, forehead, top of the head. Many of you. Just keep breathing and allowing. Deep breath. I'm going to open your crown. Take a deep breath. Open your root. I'm going to clear through the sacral. Deep breath. I'm going to bring a very thick plasmic field of pure source light. It's a very thick diamond white light like gel. I'm going to sink you into this gel. So imagine you're sinking in, coming from back to front. And it's going to sink into the cellular body, the quantum level of the cellular body. We're going to begin to reconstruct the quantum level of DNA to the divine 0 point. Breathing aloud. Plug your crown completely into source and your root into Sophia Gaia. I'm going to clear through all dimensional fields. We're going to close off any portals, gateways, access points, wormholes to any siphoning of my energy, past, present, and future, in all space-time continuum and all dimensional fields. I'm going to align completely with the one timeline of the pure ascension. Past, present, future, and all space-time continuum. I'm going to bring a field around you of Sophia Gaia. We're going to calibrate and integrate all aspects, all elements, earth, fire, air, water, ether, and we're going to calibrate and bring in the sixth element of the diamond blue plasmic flame to all aspects of self, mental, physical, spiritual, etheric. It's the I am presence. I am source. I am that. I am you. You are me. We are one. We are one. We are one. And to bring this calibration into this present moment. Imagining energetic roots coming out your legs, out your feet, wrapping around the crystalline core of the earth. So crystal clear roots. And they call in the 18th dimensional diamond consciousness of water, is bringing in divine clarity and flow. Beautiful. Whew. Take your time when you're ready. Open your eyes, drink water. Tell me how you feel.
All right, how's everybody doing? Wow. Wow, is right. I'm still coming back slowly, but surely I can feel my voice is still quite off at the moment.
Okay.
Lots of peace. I'm assuming Raphael says lots of peace. Yeah, wow, that was amazing. Thank you. Thank you very much. Angela says 100%, 100%, 100%. Yeah, I'm slowly coming back.
Yeah.
Felt that, Angela said. Marianne says, thank you. Karen says, woot, woot, bobbing and weaving with that activation. Wow, good. Trisha says, tingling. Elizabeth says, thank you, Cathleena.
Yeah. You're welcome.
It was like,
Yeah, this is going to continue. And I would listen to this again for those that are all here because, you know, it's in the 0 point. It's just allowing for that clarity. I'm feeling that coming in. So it's an alignment of the 12-strand DNA. So to the will of your oversoul at this now moment, we'll be calibrating.
I'm suddenly cold. Like, oh my God, I'm so cold. All of a sudden as well. So it's like the energy's still moving.
Yeah, so the cold, of course, is usually, you know, something of this lifetime that's moving. Usually if it's warm, it's from other lifetimes. So yeah, you probably have some stuff like coming through you. I mean,
coming through, letting it go, whatever happens to be.
There you
so
go.
yes.
It's all perfect. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And I think Karen mentioned the eye stuff, right? And I also have had eye stuff for the past month. And so that was really helpful too. Just, you know, hearing what you were saying about
Yeah,
taking everything out.
Yeah, I took a lot of information out of the eyes and out of the third eye and the top of the head, and just a lot of alignment, you know. So what I was watching.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Yeah.
So you're gonna keep yawning, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of energy. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I want to take a few minutes, and then we'll after that, if we have time, we can take some more questions. But I just want to talk a little bit about the packages as well, Cathleena, because Karen mentioned the package is different, right? Because we are working with a different
template. Yeah.
Template. So I'm gonna share my screen. 1 second, Cathleena 4. Hold on. Let me type the link in the chat as well. alara.at/show/Cathleena.
Yeah, for those who have listened to this, that this is just the third aspect of restoring your human template. And this one is about identity. So I think the first one is like the false masculine, feminine, so on. And the second one is the false sibling, friend, so on. And then this one is the false light, love.
Yes, so this is about identity, 5-week activation series to become the conscious creator you are always meant to be. So there's 2 packages, A and B. Package A is the 5 weeks, and then package B is that package A plus a 50-minute personal session with you.
Yeah.
Right. So
false vulnerability, false presence. I don't remember all of them that are here.
False truth.
Yeah. Yeah, light and Yeah, love. And the way that these are designed, so there's a write-up, and that's actually hits a certain level of the frequency. So they're all channeled. And so I, and I speak that when in the activation. And then there's the level of activation that goes deeper into the body and deeper. And so it's really just releasing the false aspects, whatever belief systems that you've taken on in relationship to these. And this one is about your sense of identity. So through the series, they kind of go from a little bit more dense to a lighter aspect of self, in all. And we've really kind of talked about what these are in terms of what the truth frequency, and it's everything that I do. I highly recommend them for anyone. And I would say, if you're here listening, that these are for you. You wouldn't be here right now. You wouldn't be listening to this if this wasn't in alignment for you and where you are in your energy. So that's how.
And then package B is all of that plus the session with you. So what does a session with you look like? I mean, I wrote a little bit here, but what does a session with you look like?
Yeah. Well, when I step in with a person, I'll ask them questions, but I'm already in their energy prior. And as I've said, because of being a frequency alchemist, I don't arbitrarily talk. So I'm already in your energy. I'm actually moving things, and I'm able to see the human template and the various different templates. And so when I work with a person, it's very multidimensional. It's whatever is showing up with them. And then it tends to move and shift. And as you see, I make sounds, and I do a lot of different things to move energies, but I'm looking at, I'm able to see either, your physical body, your life, and whatever's going on with you in many, many different levels, and many, many different things are going on. So there's it's individual to you. They're always done in the 0 point so that you can re-listen to them. I often tell people, to listen to them for a certain number of days, these types of things. That's usually what comes forward, because there's a lot of activation taking place. And
that's going to be unique to each person.
Unique to each person, and in each session. And sometimes it'll be past lives, it'll be different things, and sometimes it'll come forward, very commonly too, it'll come forward who they are, why they're here, what their particular frequency might be as source, and things like that. There's a lot of different things that come forward. I really just allow for, so where my consciousness is sitting beyond this dimensionality, so my particular consciousness that I'm aware of is outside of this whole paradigm, and so having the ability to kind of recognize all frequencies, and whatever is in the highest and best for you is what's going to come forward.
Awesome, thank you. And so both of these packages, A and B, are available with 2 and 3 part payment plans, and you can use your special gift code TACS10. So please do take advantage of both of those. And for your personal session, Cathleena, how far in advance are you booking?
I don't know. Right now, I think it'll be sometime in May. So not too far off.
Awesome. Good. Not bad. So again, these packages are available at alara.at/show/Cathleena4. And these are pre-recorded sessions, right?
They are pre-recorded, but they're all recorded in the 0 point. So they're all in the now moment. And each time you listen to them, they're all in the now moment. So it's brand new each time too. So you can listen to them continually, and you'll have unlimited access to them.
Yeah, I saw the new system. Thank goodness.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, the membership. Yeah, I have a membership area now. Yeah, I like it too.
Much easier. Perfect. So please do take a look at those and book your session with Cathleena as soon as you can. Joanne says, I've been in classes with Cathleena for a year now, and she's an amazing healer and alchemist. I highly recommend her. Awesome, Joanne. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Joanne.
Good. Sarah says, since I got more unblocked with Susan on the show earlier this week, I'm able to feel clearings and healings more. Awesome. Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Beautiful.
Yay. Karen says, buying. For the previous recording from that last package, are those in the 0.2? Yes. Right, all your activations are in the 0 point.
All the activations are in the 0 point. Yeah, everything that I do is in the 0 point.
Yeah, awesome. Good question, Karen. Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful.
All right, so do you have time to take a few more quick questions?
Sure.
So Angela wrote some stuff in the chat as well. My skin has been reacting to something for a few weeks. Can you give me any guidance?
Is Angela, are you still here? Is she here?
Yeah, but it's hard for her to go live because of the internet connection where she is. But Angela, if you're here, you can unmute.
Or she can just give me a little bit more of what her skin condition is that she's experiencing, because I thought was something.
Oh, there she is. Hello, Angela.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Yeah,
Tell
so
us a little bit more.
it's basically itching.
Yeah,
That,
itchy. That's what I felt. Mhm.
yeah, in different places, and it's on and off. But it comes and goes. Initially, I thought it was medication for heart disease, but it's sporadic.
Yeah.
So hands,
Yeah.
legs, it's constantly moving.
Yeah. I do think it's something to do with a reaction. It does feel kind of like an allergic sort of reaction of something, you know, so it might be the medication that you're on, that you might be getting too much in different times and that it's creating some sort of reaction. That was my initial, as I felt it as like an itchy and something's trying to come out on the skin, because there's something that it feels like you're getting too much of something. At times in your body. So if you are on a medication, I would check with your doctor to, because you're doing energy stuff, so your body's shifting and changing. And I think that it's shifting and changing with whatever medication. That's what I'm feeling.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so I know Destiny wrote a question in the chat about changing timelines. Is it possible to change timelines that no longer serve us?
Yes, of course. You can change your timeline, whatever you choose, by changing your belief system around it. You know, whatever belief systems that you're aligning to perpetually is what's creating those timelines. So every time you have a different belief system or different, you can shift timelines.
Does that help, Destiny?
Hopefully that helps. Yes.
Hopefully that helps.
Yes.
And that's the thing with anything, right? If you know, like we talked about earlier, like any thought or belief pattern or belief system that you have that is no longer serving you, you can change it.
Yeah.
Anything, you know, it's hard to say that because like really anything, how, but my life is such a mess, you know, it's like there's just so many things to change, right?
Yeah, well, and basically any thought that you have becomes like a timeline. And so if whatever energy that you're putting into that thought is whether or not you're going to create it into a timeline that's going to be your reality. So it has to do with the emotional aspect more than anything than the thoughts. Like what emotions are you perpetuating in your life? That's why I said I choose joy. So no matter what tries to come in, if I choose joy, then I'm choosing that frequency and that energy that's going to keep aligning me to that timeline and that pathway of joy, regardless of what comes in.
But you're not just saying I choose joy from your mind. It's not just a mental thing. It's being in that 0 point, being in your heart space and truly aligning with that frequency of joy at the same time.
Yes, because it's not about hiding in my head and staying in this energy and saying I'm going to choose joy when you really are in the frequency of something else.
Yeah,
that's where we have to have that practice of that honesty, that truly, where am I, what am I, you know, am I in truly the no thing and the all possibilities.
Yeah.
And it's because, you know, again, we're not familiar or comfortable in the unknown. So what happened, and this energy that wants to play out in the collective and through what is happening to most people, to everybody in certain capacities, is that when you drop into that frequency of the unknown, you drop into the 0 point, all these other frequencies are available playing out. And so, you know, if you don't make a conscious choice your energy is probably going to try to go towards a choice,
Yeah.
so that's the practice. It's like a practice of, when I'm in my multidimensional aspect self, it's very, very simple. It's in the human day-to-day stuff that I have to say, I choose joy, because, that's when that's the more vulnerable, and you're in the little, when you realize you're in a body and you're like, oh, what do I want to do? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's about, and it's continually choosing, like you said, it's a practice, right? Practicing to choose whatever frequency you want, right?
Yes, making choices.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It feels like there's some trauma or something, because you cleared out whatever was going on, and all of a sudden I feel something inside of me like spinning and twirling, and there's something coming back. So my head's already getting clogged up, my head's already getting confused, the right side of my body's already getting confused. So it's like there's something that automatically switches on or something.
Yeah, it's what you're familiar with. And so that's where you have to recognize that and make a decision to not align to that and drop into the 0 point. So when you drop into the 0 point, it doesn't have anything to attach to. That is what continues. I mean, that's no different than, being in the no thing and then having, fear or whatever, and that's why I say I choose joy. So that's what I would do with you, is I'd, be talking to yourself and say, okay, no, I'm not interested in that. I'm going to choose joy. I'm choosing to be in the 0 point. I'm choosing to be in the place of no thing, so that I'm not choosing that particular experience to continue to move forward within my being. And you do have a choice. You are source. We are source. So we have to remind ourselves. Okay.
Thank you, Cathleena.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Alara.
You're welcome. Thank you, Destiny. All right, Abby had a question in the chat. I would love some insight into how I can improve my health and increase my energy.
Well, that's such a broad question. I mean, it's like, in what capacity?
I'm trying to remember something about Abby physically. I think she has some issues, illnesses, etc. And but I can't remember, honestly, I can't remember. I'm not sure. So it is about, illnesses, diseases, etc. And I think even chronic fatigue, perhaps.
Well, that's such a broad energy. I'd have to step deeper into that energy for you specifically, but in general, boy, there's a lot of energy pulling with that. It feels like there's just so much energy that's pulling with that particular space.
She says fatigue mainly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like that there's a siphoning of energy. So in that case, which I did here, so when we'll say with her, it's like we close off any portals, gateways, access points, any wormholes, anything siphoning my energy, past, present, and future, and all space-time continuum. So we're going to close those off and allow. It feels like that there's a lot of dialogue. I feel like there's a male energy that's in your particular energy that's also wanting to siphon energy, but we allow that, and so that's what I feel. I feel like that there's some siphoning of energy that's going on. So we want to bring that back into our body. We want to command back into my heart, into my body, 100% of my source life force energy. That's what I'm feeling. I command back into my heart, into my body, 100% of my source life force energy. I command now back into my heart, into my body, 100% of my source life force energy. As I'm feeling that, I can start feeling that starting to come in more, and allowing, that's really what I feel the most, is really embodying, allowing for yourself to embody. I feel like there's just been a lot of stuff in your life. You have a lot of things that have caused you to not want to be embodied. And so I would suggest a session. This is really the best for that, because when I'm looking at this, I think helping you embody your life force energy, is going to make a big difference in your
Awesome.
energy.
Thank you.
That's definitely what I'm feeling.
But even just what you shared with us now is going to help all of us to embody more of our source life force energy, right? Just commanding it back into our heart and body.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to help all of us. So please, everybody, say that. Be in your heart, be in your body, be in your, you know, in your essence, and command that your source life force energy back. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. But thank you for that, Abby. Thank you so much. I have a session booked. Awesome. Good.
Good. Great. Beautiful.
All right. Tanya had a question about what's going on with Ukraine and all that stuff, and how we can stay, I guess, centered and not get, I forget the question, Tanya. You want to ask a question? It's here somewhere, way back somewhere.
Hi everyone. Thank you for letting me ask my question.
Mhm.
Yes, I read a lot about the egregors and how we, with our emotions, we get connected to those things, you know, and literally with everything that's going on in the world, I think we are connected to quite a few, and you know, and sometimes I actually like feel like something is like my chest is giving energy away. Honestly, it's like physical feeling, like waves going in my chest.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, is it anything like we can cut the connection, or do something not to get too much involved, because I cannot get not involved completely, but I don't want to get involved emotionally so much that I lose my kind of peace and my joy. I lost, like at the moment, I feel like I lost everything that I already kind of gained, and it's very upsetting. So what should I do if there is any?
Well, I always sever any attachments, seen and unseen, known and unknown. And then you can sever any attachments to, you know, any of the lower dimensional energies or any entities. I always release any holographic inserts, consciousness traps, reversal timeline loops, any of that type of stuff. But I also have a practice that I do, the 12D shield. So you just imagine like a Merkaba or a Star of David in the center of your head. It's a platinum shield, and you imagine it moving straight through your entire body, out your root, and moving into the crystalline core of the earth star. And it's always see it as a golden star. And then you can move it back up your body. And as you move it back and it stops about a foot below your feet, it'll start to spin and creates a platform. And then that creates a platinum light that then begins to move all the way up your body. And you start to visualize this platinum light, and you become pure platinum, you know, as much as you can. And as you're visualizing that, if you're really, you know, closing your eyes and just having that experience, you can realize where the tensions and those nervousness and all that is, and just allowing that to dissipate without judgment, without thought, just allowing it. So you allow that to move all the way up your body, and then it kind of rests about 3 feet above your head. And then you go back and get that star, the Star of David that's in that platform at the bottom, you bring it all the way up, and it'll create another platform at the top of your head, begin to spin. And then it kind of seals in your body in this platinum light. And then I always say, you know, I am source, I am sovereign, I am free, and only those energies that match that frequency may enter into my space. I expand my energy out 1,000 feet. And I call forward my oversoul, my higher self, my full, you know, monadic family, and so on. And then last thing you do is you send that star to the Andromeda, basically the heart of source, so that it allows you to be plugged into source, into the earth, and in your full sense of self. I would practice this regularly, because as you're doing that and releasing these attachments, it's just allowing you to stay more embodied as your source self. It is interesting. I know this isn't part of the package, but I am going to send out an email. You know, I do have a handheld instrument called a frequency adjuster, and it does create the 0 point, and maybe something for you to have. It's not that everybody has to have them, but it does allow for you to, once you're attuned to it, it will continually bring your body back into the 0 point. So it's a helpful tool to actually have, especially when you're experiencing something that you're experiencing. I mean, everybody could really benefit, but if you're in particularly situations, it is a very helpful tool.
Thank you
But
so
these
much.
these are practices that I do, and I do them regularly. I do them before I go to sleep and in the morning, you know. So it's like you're setting the stage for your own energy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tanya.
I will write it down. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you're welcome.
Yeah, and listen to the call again, okay? Yeah,
I will.
Yeah.
awesome. And the key point, one of the key points that Cathleena just mentioned is she uses these practices daily,
Mhm.
daily. I mean, in this day and age, in this time that we're at, and with all the stuff that we all do, you
Yeah.
have to do these practices daily. It's not just one
Mhm.
and done. Okay, so just
Yeah.
remember that.
And it really is about statements too, you know, honestly, you know, I don't necessarily have to do the practice. I choose to do them because I'm I'm very embodied as my oversoul. But I also make a statement that all the time, you know, that my, I can't even think of how I say it, that my declaration is to embody pure source consciousness, you know, that is my alignment. And I just really identify, because, you know, that's the key, is identifying who you are to yourself as source consciousness.
Absolutely. All right, last question, Rebecca, if you're still here. You've had your hand raised for a long time.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi.
All right, do you have a quick question or a long question?
Quick question. I'm
That's
working on I'm working on a TEDx talk, and it's called What Being Raised in a Satanic Cult Taught Me About Forgiveness. And every time I try to talk about it, my throat starts to close off. So I'm just wondering if there's anything you can do to just sort of help me move forward with my message.
Well, I think that's significant that your divine voice is trying to come through what your true voice is. And so I would say that perhaps your message just needs to be your message, not necessarily a TED Talk. I mean, it can be in that, but it feels like it needs to be your message. You know, I know that those are specifically have parameters and things to them. And I feel like that may be what is kind of
That's just the
interfering.
starting point. I do plan on doing other talks and continuing with the message after that, but I've got a coaching program I'm in right now, and that's part of the focus, is to get the TEDx talk. So it's kind of just a starting point.
Yeah, but I feel like that, see that whole thing, you have to realize everything's energy. And so, you know, having a limitation or a starting point or a parameter to something as profound as what you want to bring, maybe what is you know, holding the voice back. It's like siphoning the voice. So, you know, it's something that I learned. It's about being very present. You know, how I'm able to do what I do and show up is because I just show up. I don't have parameters or things. And this is something that we are stepping away from, is you know, the whole way that business is, and the presentation and the way that we do things, and just simply showing up. And this is just what I'm feeling, is no judgment. You can take it or leave it, but it feels like what is going to open this for you is to eliminate that and speak your truth, because it's your truth in whatever way feels the most profound, because I do think it's going to be a very profound message, and it will be very well received and very well heard, regardless of your platform, regardless of how you choose to show up as you just show up with it.
Thank you. Wow. I'm an energy healer too, and boy, this is the second time I've seen you, and your work is so powerful.
Thank you. Just
Thank
remember,
you. I'll be getting a
it's beautiful. Just remember, I'm a divine mirror. So what you see in me is in you, and all of you.
what a lovely thing to say. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get a
Rebecca.
package, so I'll be connecting again. Thanks so much, you guys.
Beautiful.
Thank
Much
you.
love.
You too.
All right, anything else? Any other quick questions before we go, or anything else coming forward that Cathleena that you want to share?
I just feel like that this is, you know, very profound group. You guys are amazing beings of light, and just keep opening your hearts. Just let go. You know, the more that we can just show up, it really is simple. You know, we complicate things, we complicate life, and it just feels like that. Just the more we open our hearts, the more we become brave and just show up. Amazing. And you guys are all amazing. Every one of you has something amazing to bring forward. And I look forward to hearing it and seeing it and whatever it is that wants to come forward from each and every one of you. So many blessings. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. And if you'd like to work with Cathleena with her package or with her specifically, get package A or get package B, and they are available at alara.at/show/Cathleena4. And this is the series number 3 about identity. Okay, so please do take a look at that. And thank you so much for all your questions, everyone. I know we got most of them. I'm not sure if we got all of them. We got most of them. I think some of them got missed out. But thank you. So appreciate it.
And if anything is really pressing with anyone, you guys can send me an email. It's fine.
There you go.
If I can answer it.
Awesome. Thank you. And the activation was amazing. Awesome. Like you all said in the chat. So please go back and watch and listen to this call again so that you can receive even more. And at the same time, let go and release even more to really fully embody more of who you truly are, which is source. Okay. So
Yeah,
awesome.
beautiful. All right.
Thank you so much, Cathleena. Thank you so much, everyone. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now.
Take care. Bye-bye.